Fall Guys vs Broforce, two platform battle royale games which have a series of challenges, tents, and reactions all in one of which grew rapidly last year, and the other one kind of being a rip-off of Fall Guys this year. So today I'm going to do a comparison video of the two games Fall Guys and Broforce, and which game is the best to play on PC. Two halves of the video will be a main focus of one of the games and then compare the other to it. So without further ado, let's fall in. Alright, so I've chosen to start with Fall Guys. Let's start off with the introductions, menus, and loading times. With Fall Guys, you'll face a simple looking menu to play showing you XP, challenges, and customizing your outfits, which makes everything have to do with your gameplay. The loading times can be a tiny bit long even with good internet and takes a quite bit of time to set up a server with a near amount of 60 players. I tested the loading times 3 times and it averages around 50 seconds. Alright, now let's talk about the gameplay, creativity, and difficulty of the game. If it's your first time playing Fall Guys, you might find the controls a bit wonky. The characters move slowly in accordance to the size of most maps, and moving around with the speed and control can take some getting used to. With the creativity of the game, there is a big variety of maps and modes, and with some of the modes including races, survival, hunt, logic, team games, and final games all in one game. The creativity of maps are very expandable every season, which is grabbing tails, jumping through rings, pressing buttons, etc, etc. So with Fall Guys having a great variety of maps and modes, are they easy at all? Well, not really. The biggest problem with the maps are the randomized selection of maps every single round. Some maps have obstacles and parts that haunt every player to ruin your round. Depending on Fall Mountain, ruining your last chance. Depending on Slime Climb, where you just can't get up the damn thing. Depending on Hexagon, where there's always a hacker right in front of you. This was the point where a lot of people stopped playing the game after a while and moved on to a game that we do not speak about. As seasons came by, there were new maps that was not hated on by anyone, but no matter what, it all stays there. Fall Ball, Hexagon, Fall Mountain, etc, etc. If you're like me, where you can't win at all, then everything I said is something that's definitely going to happen to you. Alright, now let's move on to the possible advantages of the game. Some include right clicking to do a forwards dive, which in most parts is actually very useful to save yourself, or another useful one being to follow the crowd. This can be mostly useful in door dash, especially if you're behind, so you can follow the people as they go through the doors. In team games, a lot of people went for a defense style to defend your team from losing. This can include blocking your enemy's ball in Rock and Ball, Fall Ball, Snowy Scrap, and pretty much all other ball team games. The game design and production is extremely well done from the developer. The detail of the menus, maps, characters, and animations are well done, and it can be a positive affair in the game during your gameplay. The only times the game will tend to lag is just the outdated graphics driver, so if that's not a problem, then the game should give you perfect matches every time. Alright, so with Fall Guys out of the way, it's time to review the ripoff, that is Broforce. The menu is nice and simple and has a good frame rate from selections and options. And hey, there's even a cool I have a good day button, which adds one of a having a good day counter. That's pretty cool. The loading screen looks cool, and there's also keybinds to know before you actually play the game. This was something I didn't actually pay attention to, but looking back it's good to see it, especially me thinking that the dive button was mouse too, like Fall Guys. The loading times can be a bit faster too. The gameplay is also very smooth, as your character can move at a good enough pace to play through each stage. Everyone also starts in a cage, which may be a bit more balanced than Fall Guys if you're always right at the back. The jumping mechanics are nice and smooth and are helpful for you being able to eventually cross the finish line. The animations in the gameplay is nice too, like when you run into a saw blade, you literally get chopped into pieces. Very brutal, but animations really top Fall Guys. When I was playing, I witnessed a small glitch on my first game, where for some reason as I was playing, the screen went into some weird sky thing and I was stuck there. I don't know how this happened, but it was really weird and I couldn't get out of it, so I had to restart my game. From then onwards, I resumed playing and noticed that when you die, you go all the way back to the beginning, unlike Fall Guys. Most of these maps can contain hard obstacles along the way, and none of them include any checkpoints, which can basically ruin your game. And if you want, you can even hammer people around when you're done, if you're not bothered to watch the game. Moving on to the maps, it's more of the same from Fall Guys. The selection is randomized, but some levels are much shorter than others. One map that is low chance to play on, but straight up dumb, is Big Wall. The only problem with it is the start. Everything else is fine except for the wall at the start. It can cause you to be thrown off by a lot of people, mistime your jumps, or just fall off from the slime at the top. And if you get past that, you cannot make a single mistake from that point, because as always, you will start all the way back to the beginning. But hey, look at that, I didn't fall into the blender when I was eliminated. I haven't been able to play or find all maps of Broforce, but in all my experiences, most maps have a good consistency of creativity and difficulty in an event where your map is randomized for every single round, for great animations, graphics, and clean runs you can get during your gameplay. The last thing I want to point out with the game that is not in Fall Guys is the free camera mode. For example, during gameplay, you can roam into a free camera which can make your view go anywhere across the whole map during your game, and qualification, which at most times, which can give you a better view of the game if you've qualified. Or if you are still playing, you can at times maybe see what's ahead of you if you're still playing. I don't know what it can really do, but it could be useful in some circumstances. Alright, the time has come to decide a winner for the best game between Fall Guys and Broforce. Two similar games which have different mechanics and ways to play the game. So this all comes down to the difficulty and how entertaining it really is. So the winner of the best game between the two is Broforce. The disagreements can occur after my decision of me choosing Broforce, but with the two games basically acting the same, Broforce can set up a better gameplay experience for you and all other players on Steam. And this isn't me saying that you shouldn't play Fall Guys, but I reckon that Broforce gets you a better gameplay experience. So that's it, that is my video of Fall Guys vs Broforce. So like, subscribe, comment, etc, and I'll see you guys later.